hold that right now.
All right, welcome into Indiebnb. Today we are joined by Atticus Roness, a local Atlanta legend who has broken out on his own recently, but formerly of Corderoy Blue. Atticus, how are you in beautiful Atlanta tonight?
Indiebnb, brother, it's good to be here. Yeah, I'm in the parking lot of downtown Atlanta. I guess the parking lot of downtown Atlanta. Like, there's only one. But yeah, I'm down here after work. Excited to talk to you, man. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, well, again, I had the pleasure of seeing you live as the Corderoy Blue in December, and great show. Loved your energy. You were wearing some shoes that were about 7 inches high, so want to know how your ankle health is.
Well, it's funny you say that. My ankles are fine. So recently, and I don't attribute it all to this, but I've been having some knee issues, like nothing crazy, but it definitely is there. And I attribute it mostly to me playing basketball pretty hard my whole life, but also a little bit of wearing those high heels. I don't think it's good on my legs. I don't think it was good on my knees. Like, I was having a hard time balancing and playing, and I got used to it after a while, but I really think that that's part of the problem with my knee. It may not be. Somebody's going to be like, no, that's not the problem. It's not your joints. But I'm choosing to believe that that's part of it. So we'll go with that. But yeah, I don't wear those anymore. They're in the back of my trunk, actually. Haven't taken them out since the last TCB show. So
Gotcha. Well, obviously you struck out on your own. You got a lot going on. You guys have a management company, the Mockingbird Talent Group, if that's the right name, or is that right?
Yeah. Mockingbird Talent Agency, but I mean, it's the same thing.
Beautiful. So you're cultivating artists, but also, still making music on your own. So, as you've kind of gone off into, this, solo act, like, what's that been like, as you've been there?
Well, I mean, I want to preface it and say, like, the Corduroy Blue have brought me so far. Like, I got to meet so many cool folks, and my brother and I are still closer than ever. Honestly, it was really just a matter of, we're brothers first, and I think, he wanted to do some other things, and I think it would be selfish to both of us, our relationship as individuals, as people, as brothers, to not want each other to grow, and do what they need. Because I like making music with them, but I like being his brother more. And I know that sounds silly and cute and cliche, but I mean, it was just true. And and he's really happy for me, and he really is supporting me in my solo career. But, so basically I went through a lot of change, like the band broke up, and I used to work at a record store. Now I work downtown serving in a restaurant. I really like that. And, a lot of my relationships are different, and, everything kind of changed really fast for me in the last year or so. And also I was in school. I dropped out of school this a little over a year ago, and just to really focus in on music. And a lot of growth has come from it. I knew when the band broke up. Well, I'll start back and say the band broke up in, I don't know, maybe we knew it was over in like March, I think, and of this year. And then the agency started like right after that, the Mockingbird Talent Agency. It was basically like some buddies of mine were asking me about booking shows and whatever, and I was like, well, I mean, because I'm the only one I know, at least. I mean, not that the Corderoy Blue is anything big, but at least locally, I felt like we were starting to make a name, and we were one of the few people that, like, I never had outside booking help really. I was booking all of it myself. I don't know why. It's kind of weird, but I love it. I don't know why I like doing it. I just kind of like being the other guy sometimes, like the guy in the suit every once in a while. And so I was doing that for us, and had a lot of bands hitting me up, and I hooked up one band. I was like, wait, I can make a business out of this, or a model. And so we've been able to work that out. And now fast forward to like 7 months, we put on our first festival, and we have like over 20 artists. And I'm really proud of the community that we built through that. The trick is like balancing that with the solo career and everything else. It's tricky because I'm an artist first, and that's one of the I think the strengths of the agency is that it's not run by some, and I'm sure that there's some great agencies run by these folks, but I'm a young, active artist, not somebody who's like been duped by the industry and like, kind of cold towards it and like older and trying to get like a quick cash grab. Like, that's not really what I'm about. For me, I'm a young guy, like in my prime, I think, like trying to do the same thing these other artists are doing. So why not we all do it together? And I don't know, I think that creates like a young energy, and something that I'm excited about. And on top of that, when I'm emailing people for my personal gigs, because I'm going solo now, it's nice having like an agency name to hide behind, instead of being like,
Yeah.
hey, book me and my band. It's more like Mockingbird Talent Agency, we represent so and so, and it's more of a professional way of going about it.
Yeah.
Obviously we'll have to start somewhere, and I'm the one still running it, but yeah, I'm really proud of that, and that's been something that's been a pleasant surprise this year. I didn't think it would take off the way that it has, and um, balancing that with my solo career has been a lot of fun, and I'm just starting the rollout for the new album coming out in October, so that's been a lot of fun. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll give you there's a compliment paid to you guys on one of our other podcasts. We spoke with Juliet from Smiths,
yes,
and she goes, I go, who's a band that you guys have felt like you kind of pushed towards and have has kind of grown up in Smiths and grown up around the Atlanta area, and she mentioned the Corderoy Blue. So I think
we
that those,
definitely. I mean, they were instrumental for us, and she's exactly right. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, so I love Smiths. I've never really gotten any other sentiment that's given to them. Otherwise, I don't understand it. I love them, and I think what they do is great. And providing a platform for anybody to really be able to play in that small room is so important. Um, and like, I mean, we played in there like 8 times, and then we finally got to play upstairs, and we had like our album release show there. We had like our New Year's Eve shows there. So many amazing. Our first show post COVID was up there. It's like
yeah,
really big milestones, like um, that were like I mean, almost every show we ever did upstairs specifically was like those are nights you don't forget.
yeah,
Um, and so yeah, she's exactly right. And I'm excited to do more with my solo career there. I have played there so many times. I try and mix it up, but I mean, that's been a place that is always going to have my heart. And now that's been a super important place for me booking other bands,
yeah.
getting them to have that same experience or try to. And so, we work really closely with them. And um, yeah, that place is awesome.
Yeah, building those relationships around Atlanta, it seems like it's that's how you kind of get, you get in the scene a little bit, you get,
Right.
get some, good contacts.
Right.
They start to trust you as far as like, hey, exactly, what you're sending them, and you have a good
Right.
eye. That's
100%.
definitely key.
Yeah, it was really good too. Like, cause they know, like, again, to your point, like they trust me because we've grown up with them. So like Julia specifically and I work really closely in getting these other bands, and she trusts me to bring these other new bands in because she knows who I am and what we've done. And that's very valuable to me that she respects the bands I'm bringing in and likes the talent and will hit me up if she has opportunities. It's very helpful. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So you're going out solo. I listened to a couple of the 2 songs you've got out on Spotify, and a little bit different than Corduroy Blue. I feel like it's a kind of a
Definitely.
little bit much more mellow, much more lyrics first, almost
Definitely.
folksy. So
Sure.
talk
Yeah. Yeah.
about your influence there. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
what's changed, and
Yeah.
obviously writing is different for yourself versus in a band.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's interesting because I'm the guy behind the writing of both of them. Like, but I would also say that it's incredulous to think that my brother's presence and what he likes and what he's into didn't have an effect on what we were doing. Um, me and him are, I would say, like, also, I don't know how to explain it. Like, when we were doing that TCB album, we kind of cultivated that sound together in a way.
Yeah,
But as we got older, we started getting into different things, and I got into more, to your point, a little more folk stuff. So, like, I really got into Nick Drake and Leonard Cohen and Elliott Smith and those three really specifically, but Bob Dylan as well and Paul Simon I've always liked. And I've always also it's funny, I've always had that side to my sound, but I never really felt like the Corduroy Blue was the vehicle for it.
yeah,
I've always written these kind of songs. And honestly, even on the Corduroy Blue, there's 1 or 2 songs that are kind of like that.
hmm,
But not really. And also like, the Corduroy Blue, it was such a well produced album. It was so like, that's the album we wanted to make. We wanted to make a big sounding, thanks to Real to Real and Real to Real Studios for that. But like with this album, well, first of all, I mean, when a band that you pour everything into breaks up or whatever, like, your world kind of stops for a second and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do now? And a lot of people quit, like they're like,
yeah,
oh, well, I don't want to do this anymore. I just wasted all this money and time. But I chose to not view it as a waste. Also, I just have too many songs, I think, and too many good songs to like quit. And this is what I love to do. So I was, my brother and I went to Europe, and we kind of honestly that was kind of when we decided to end it. It was because we were out of our comfort zone, and we were kind of like, hey, I don't think this is working anymore for certain reasons. And Then I got home and I just started writing, and I wrote both of these songs pretty much like 2 weeks after we got home. Um, and I had already had a bunch. Like, I don't say this as a flex. It's more of just like the the to paint a picture of how much I needed to get going was like I've got something like almost 500 songs that like, and there's way more that I've written that are really terrible, but there's like 4 to 5 in there that are like there's a good melody in there somewhere, and so it's just like I had to like I can't just keep sitting on these. I have to do something with these.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so like that folk. I don't know. When the band broke up, I knew I wanted to be different. I knew I couldn't live in the shadows of those high heels anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't wear the tight flannel leotard anymore. I had to break away from that. And I kind of found Elliott Smith to be like a not a shining light, but kind of like I was looking for an artist to kind of gravitate towards and pull from, and he happened to be it for me. Um, just like his quieter demeanor, something about the way he combines like the 60s and the 90s, I found really appealing, like sort of these 60s melodies with this sort of like, to your point, folksy, but almost was kind of alternative as well, like
Yeah.
90s alternative vibe. I really found that appealing, and his voice and his lyrics and his Beatle influence, because I'm a Beatle fanatic. Like all of that was like super inspirational for me. And sometimes I'll find an inspiration and write a song or two. But I mean, I was writing like song after song after song in that vein, to the point where I was like, oh, because when you have so many songs like I do, it's not about like which ones are the best per se. It's because you could kind of just pick one and it could probably work.
Yeah.
Not always, but for me, it was more of like, and how I'm going to do my solo albums is like which group of songs fits the best together. Like which tell a story thematically, which complement each other the best. And I just picked these 14 songs, and that's narrowing it down. We had like 20, and I narrowed it down to like 14. Um, 14 songs that I felt really fit well together, and they were all in this sort of. They're a little bit of everything. I mean, there's some Oasis vibes in there. There's some Elliott Smith vibes. There's definitely some John Lennon vibes with Nick Drake. Um, but I wanted to make a very clear departure and kind of showcase a style that I hadn't done before, and I
Yeah.
may not do again for a while because the songs I still play a lot of full band music, um, that has a full sound, and I'll be putting that out, I'm sure, soon. But I wanted to have a moment for this, and I also felt like going solo. It's daunting, it's scary to see the 0 monthly listeners back again. That whole vibe
Yeah.
of restarting.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of felt like I wanted to just ease myself back into it instead of trying to release this big grandiose project like the Corderoy Blue. Like nothing can nothing can kind of stand to that right now. I feel like I have to wean my way back into that, and
Yeah.
um, I don't know. This felt like a good way to do that and comfortable for me. I wanted to be comfortable when I was doing it. So
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely something to be said about kind of getting back, and you get to that zero, you can see that it's almost like that writer's block thing where it's like, man, you just have nothing to write, or you don't have any writer's block, but you got
yeah,
like it's like we're starting over on a blank page, and
right,
you can make it however you want to make it. And I think that putting it out, little by little, getting the feelers out there, probably playing a
yeah,
lot of shows. Like I think
yeah,
that's sounds like it's like going to be a good formula for you. Like
definitely, definitely.
when you
And
when you do go play live for in your solo, like will you have full band? Do you want to do full band first? Do you want to do just
sure,
you guitar and a mic? Like
sure,
what's that vision look like?
sure. Well, what I like about this again is something I got from Ellie Smith, but something that I like the most about going solo is I can make that decision however I want. You know what I mean? Like I have complete autonomy in that decision. If I decide last minute I'm not feeling like playing full band, or I don't, or I want to play full band, I don't want to play by myself. To answer your question, I have two guys I play with if I'm in a band, so it's a three-piece still. But I have a bass player, a drummer, and then I play guitar and sing. Um, and they sing killer harmonies, and it really sounds really great. Um, but the point is, like, I can do that if I want. I cannot do that if I want. In
Yeah.
the middle of the set, I'll pick up the acoustic and do my own thing, or the rest of it they play with me. I'd say for the most part right now, we play as a full band. Um, and we have, like I said, there's a second album after this one already written and ready to be demoed. And we play a lot, and that stuff's all full band sounding.
Mhm.
So we play a lot of that stuff, and then we usually pick like 5 songs from this current, more stripped down record, and we imagine those with a full band. And then in the middle of the set, I'll play the acoustic songs from this record too.
Sure.
So it's a bit, what I like about it is it's an immersive experience. It's very much me. Um, and again, I can choose to do it however I want. And what I like about having an acoustic album is, um, not only can I go tour by myself, but it's not like I'm cheapening the experience. I have a whole record that sounds like that. And
Yeah.
so there's music that people will, it's not like they're like, oh, well, this sounds better on the album because it sounds bigger. Well, it's like, no, this is exactly how it sounds on the album
Yep.
because that's how I made it. So I like that where I'm not cheapening that experience at all. I get to go out there and actually play this album just by myself and it sounds like the album. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I've talked to quite a few people who are in that, singer-songwriter folk vein.
right.
Timothy Edward Carpenter and Ben Strawn, who's local here in
Yeah.
Atlanta. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, when you listen to their music on Spotify or, any of the, whatever you listen on, and you go see them, I saw Timothy Edward Carpenter and Ben and who's the other gentleman? Spencer Thomas Smith in a
I
lot
know
in
that.
a bookstore. I saw him in a bookstore, and I got the exact feeling I got whenever I heard the songs on
Right. Spotify.
Spotify in the room. So that totally
Right.
tracks on
Totally.
the, hey, like I want to make sure that you're not. I don't feel like I'm getting, I buy a ticket
Cheated or
to
whatever.
Atticus Roness. I'm like, I'm getting what I came for. I'm getting
Right.
that full experience. So that's
it,
awesome.
it's a fine line between like, giving them what they came for, but also making it unique enough to where, I
Mhm.
also want people to come to a show and not feel like I never want to go to a show and be like, oh, I could have just gotten that from Spotify. I
Yeah.
want there to be another element too as well, where
100%.
whether I'm talking to them or whether I do change a chord or I improvise a little bit, all
Yeah.
that stuff can be done in moderation.
Yeah. That was one thing I noticed with that group. There was kind of a little bit of a story, behind each song. You get to kind of
Mhm.
get a little understanding of like where they were when they wrote it, or like
Right,
what mindset they had, or what are the things that we're going through.
right.
And it kind of makes the song a little bit more
Personal.
unique and
Yeah,
definitely cuts deep. So I love that. For you, you got the two songs out, Fog Dense and So What, correct?
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
For you, you could pick one of those. Which one would you say, like, as you know, you came in and you would love to just deconstruct, and how did you start with So What, I guess?
Yeah, yeah,
What was
sure.
the
Yeah, it was funny because they both happened around the same time, and I always believe from, I mean, the beginning of time, like tragedy or sadness. Nobody wants to hear about. It's. I'm really happy for you if this is your life, and it's been my life sometimes. But I'm happy for you if you wake up just never thinking a bad thought, and you go smell roses, and you have a great day at work, and you get home and everybody's nice to you, and you go to bed and have that same day again. Good for you, but and I've lived that life before, and I haven't lived that way in a while. So,
yeah,
like, but I'd say that in that some of that hardship, whether it's relationships ending or, uh, you know, creative things shifting or whatever it is, like the best music I've ever written. Always, my friends even make fun of me. They're like, when when the relationship ended, that both of those songs are about, because it was like a year and a half relationship. All my friends were like, I would say I feel bad for you, but I know we're about to get some bangers after this. And it was like,
jeez,
and it
tough.
was like, it was tough. But in the moment, I was like, guys, stop focusing on that right now. But
Yeah,
but now, I mean, I think it's funny, but it's true. Like, going through all that, and so I guess was I think I wrote Fog Dance first. I'll break them both down because they're kind of the same. They're kind of written in the same time. Uh, Fog Dance, I heard that melody, the do 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 do, the beginning or whatever. I heard that in a dream. I don't know, and I'm not making that up. Like I was sleeping and I heard that melody in my head, and then I woke up and chorded it out, and then the next day I wrote the lyrics, and I'll just say, without going too into detail about it, was, a year and a half of anything in your life is a lot of time and investment, and a romantic relationship is definitely no exception. And and there were good times, there were bad times, and at the end, when it ended, I kind of felt like I was in a rut. I was just sad, and I didn't. I was almost like maybe I wish I would have. Could I have done anything better or whatever to make this not the case? And at a certain point, I kind of buckled up a little bit, and I was like, you know what? No, not only did I make the right decision, but I think that I'm not the only one to blame here. And and that song has a little bite to it, which I like. And that's not something that I usually do. Both of these songs actually have that, which is another aspect of my writing that wasn't on TCB really. The more not maybe cynical side of me that maybe I've sort of created as of recently, is shown on these records still. I still sing them very pretty, but there's still that cynical nature to them. And then So What was kind of, the chords came first. I just was trying to write an Elliott Smith song. Um,
Mhm.
and and that one just kind of came. What I like about that song is I feel that a lot of people, when they write a song, and I've heard this in like songwriter groups, where they'll be like, hey, you got to figure out what the song's about. You got to have an idea and stick to it. And I don't write songs like that. That's not how I work. I don't work well in groups like that. For me, it's just start writing what the music is telling you. I know that sounds silly, but it's just like the
Yeah.
music was making me feel this type of way, and I just started rambling lyrics, and it was about that relationship. And what I liked about that song is, I think the human brain is a lot more complicated than like you made the right decision or you made the wrong decision, or life's not like that. I think that life's a lot more gray than that. Like, if this hadn't happened, then this might not have been that way. I don't know. Life's just a lot more gray area than I think we give it credit for, rather than black and white. Like, I was good here and I was bad here. That's not really how life works. And I don't think enough songs talk about the gray area enough. They're always like this: I'm the victim here, or I'm the perpetrator, rather than a little bit of both. And what I like about So What is I'm openly admitting both of those parts of me and both those parts of the other person. And I'm kind of in even in that song I say, I hope this message is getting through. I hope it's not getting lost. Literally me admitting, I know this is confusing to probably listen to, because I keep going back and forth about how I feel about this person, but that's why the song is called So What. I was like, so what? I mean, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And you're kidding yourself if you've never felt the same way about something in your life, where you're torn about it. And one day you feel a certain way, and the next you feel a different way. And that's just how life is most of the time. And I didn't feel like
Yeah.
most songs do that. So I was kind of like, so what? Fuck it. I couldn't call it fuck it. So I just called it So What, or So What,
I
you know?
like I like it. Well, that's good. That's good context. And now I'm gonna go back and listen to him kind of again and just kind of get that,
Definitely.
with and I would suggest our listeners do the same. Go
Yeah,
stream it on
definitely. Definitely.
all the platforms. So what's next before we get to Pete Peterson, I want to know what's next. I want to know what things are, coming down the
I mean,
pipeline for
yeah,
you. And also, some people that, we'll get to in a minute about, the Mockingbird Agency and who you
sure.
represent, all those things. But
Definitely.
what's next for Atticus? What's going on there?
Yeah. Well, I've got these two singles were in support of the album called Square One that's coming out October 20th. Um, and this album is 14 songs and it's 37 minutes long, which means each song is real short and sweet, and um, gets the point across. And I feel like So What and Fog Downs, because there's some really good songs on this record that I wanted to make the single, but I think these songs and their complications and their complexity, I think, embody a lot of what the album's about. And even the title of the album, Square One, is just me admitting, like, hey, I feel like I'm back in the beginning in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel that way. One thing I like, I work downtown here, and um, I hear a lot of people talk about, this is getting real, like, they talk about like the backup plan for a lot of musicians, or like, what is your fallback? And I see a lot of business folk, or a lot of young guys, trying to make it in the business world, economic world, come in and have lunch where I work. And you know, it sounds like a lot of them have some of the same struggles that me as an artist have, where they feel like, what's next for them. So it's almost like it doesn't matter what profession you're in, um, whether it looks better to your parents or not, or it impresses your girlfriend's dad or not. It's really more about like at the end of the day, you're the one doing it, and whatever it is that makes you happy, you should do. And it's just funny because a lot of those guys are struggling in the same way. They wouldn't admit it, but they feel like they're at square one, while I'm over
Yeah.
here like, maybe I wish I had their stability, and they're like, I wish I had that creativity and that freedom. Everybody wants what they don't have. And um that's why I like this album, is because I feel like I'm at square one, but I know a lot of people do in every point in their life. And you don't have to break up with a significant other and lose your band to feel that way.
Yeah.
um
I think
so
that
that
is very much a true statement for sure.
Yeah, so that album comes out October 20th, and my release show comes out October. Or I'm playing it October 20th, the night of, at Flicker Theater in Athens. Um, so Flicker Bar and Theater, and I'm playing with Drew Beskin, Athens legend, Parker Wheeling and Leighton Day, one of my Mockingbird talent agents signees. She's awesome, and yeah, that'll be a really good show. So
Beautiful. Well, a trip to Athens in October, nothing like it. I love
yeah,
it.
no, that's right, that's right. Nothing like the classic city in the fall, brother.
Yeah, there's something about it.
That's
Well,
right.
very good. Well, so October 20th, everyone write it down, put it in your calendar.
Right.
Atticus's Square One album coming out that day. Let's get over to something a little bit more different here. Pete
Sure, let's do it.
Peterson's party pack of questions, because that's going to be a party. You know, it's
No,
now
it's gonna be an
a party.
absolute,
You know,
absolute blast.
so here we go. Pete Peterson's party pack of questions. Our rules are here: 20 questions right in a row. It's gonna be rapid fire, and here we go.
Let's go.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Cake.
Yeah, yeah.
Salad or soup?
Salad for sure.
All right. Sunrise or sunset? What are you seeing more of?
I see more sunrises, but I like sunsets better. But I
Got
see
it.
sunrises more too.
All right. Would you rather hit a home run or score a touchdown?
Oh, a home run for sure.
Home run. Drop a bomb. I like it.
Oh,
Night
yeah.
in, night out. What are you doing more of these days?
Night in, I think.
Night in.
Night in, man.
When your jam comes on at a party, are you more likely to do the robot or the worm?
Oh, the robot. I ain't getting all the way down there.
Okay.
Not
I
with
like
these knees after those high heels, bro.
Yeah, the high heels broke it. I like it. All right. Guac or queso? What are you getting at your favorite Mexican spot?
Queso.
He's a queso man. All right.
Mhm.
Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Oh, okay. All right. We like
Yeah.
it. Coffee or tea with those pancakes?
Coffee. I drink tea because I'm a singer, but I would never drink it again if I didn't have to sing.
I like it. All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs, brother.
All right. We need more dogs. All right. Ninja or pirate? What are you more like?
What am I more like? A pirate, I think. I want to be a ninja, but I'm a pirate.
All right. Gatorade or Powerade?
Gatorade. Yeah.
All right. Toast or bagels?
Bagels, brother. I'm from New York City, so we have to rep.
All right. Repping New York bagels. Chips or pretzels?
Ooh, it really depends on the type, but I think pretzels, just all of them.
I love it. All right. Yes. Soft pretzels. People are underrated on the soft pretzels.
Dude, soft pretzels, sourdough pretzels, pretzel bites, honey mustard pretzels, you name it.
I mean, you can get in there. I like it. Fries or tots?
Fries are just too diverse, too unique. Can do too many things.
All right. We sit down after a long day. TV or a movie? What are you turning on?
Oh, TV show or a movie, you mean?
Yeah.
A movie. I'm a movie man. Yeah.
Are aliens real?
If we were still in a band, me and my brother would be debating about this. My answer is I don't really care. If maybe. I would say no. I don't think they do, but I would say if they do, then we're doomed anyway. So why try and figure it out?
I like it. Bigfoot. Is he real or her? Or they or them?
Indiebnb right here, brother. Love it. No, he's not. Sadly, she's not there now.
All right. Love at first sight. Is that real?
In the sense of, I guess the idea. Yeah, I do think so. I don't think it means like a lot of times people think love at first sight is like I found the one. I don't think it's like that, but I do think you can have love at first sight with multiple people at different times in your life. I think I'll say that. So
Okay.
yes.
All right, this one should be pretty easy for you. Name two bands that we don't know about that we ought to check out.
Ooh.
Maybe ones that are on your label or on the in the
yeah, sure. Or I'll name one classic old band that I like, and then one off the agency. It's hard to pick just one off the agency, but I'll pick one because they're gonna like it. Big Star is my legend band. They're awesome. Big Star is power pop. At its finest, it's kind of like the style that I consider my music to be, especially when we play full band. Where it's got that rawness and some of that grit, but it's still pop music at the end of the day. And then, okay, it's hard to pick a Mockingbird agency band, so I'm just gonna pick Better Yet, because Better Yet, the two guys in Better Yet are in my backing band. So I have to show those guys some love. They're great, and could not do what I do live without them. And their band is awesome as well. So better yet.
Love it. I love it, man. Well, we appreciate you hopping into Pete Peterson's party pack of questions
Dude,
and tailgate.
that was a fiesta, brother.
Yeah, and that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. Well, guys, October 20th, the album comes out the same day. He's got an album release show at the Flicker Theater out in Athens. Athens is nice in October. Don't know if you guys have plans.
Yep.
Whip it down there. Go see him. He's got some great bands coming out with him as well. So, Atticus, we appreciate you coming on to Indiebnb, man. Look forward to catching up again and getting an update in a year, you know, in
Definitely,
6 months, seeing where things are, man.
Yeah, man. Dude, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the time, and it was a pleasure to get to talk about the tunes. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Of course. We love the tunes, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. Appreciate you. Thank you again.